Do we have the biggest psyop in history incoming? It seems connected to the La Palma tsunami and its coming collapse, and how this will create a new age. We can see it here on The Economist magazine 2017, which was created 300 years after the creation of Freemasonry in 1717. We have the Tower card, which looks like a volcano, and it's splitting apart and there's water. We have the thesis of Martin Luther. Remember, we have this reconciliation with Pope Leo and King Charles, the first time since Henry VIII and the Reformation. We have Trump as king, and Trump is becoming like Julius Caesar. He got shot in the ear, or fake shot in the ear, on the birthday of Julius Caesar, and the death day of John Dee, who was one of the secret writers of Julius Caesar. And Donald Trump was responsible for Operation Warp Speed. He is a Julius Caesar character. And this all relates to Shakespeare, because the first man who got it was called William Shakespeare. The Tsar in the UK was from Shakespeare country, Nadim Zahawi. You shake it before you spirit. It's about destroying the lower self. So they want to create a new age. They believe society has become too materialistic. They have all these new technologies, and they have to create this new age. And it could be about something even bigger. Now, he was the father of the William Shakespeare. And William Shakespeare wrote a play called Julius Caesar. And Trump was shot in the ear on the birthday of Julius Caesar. This is all a script. And America is based on ancient Rome. And we had the emergency alert in the UK on St. George's Day, the first one, which was the birth and death date. Then we had a second alert, and I believe the third alert is when it will be the La Palma tsunami. And it's all connected to this, the star, which is, I believe, a man-made object, and that is 3IAtlas, your third eye. In 1984, Johns Hopkins University created an artificial comet. In 1984, you had legislation which was used in the UK in the lockdown. 1984, a famous book by George Orwell, dystopian times which we're living today. Johns Hopkins University played a crucial role in the lockdown, and the event they had before it, they were instrumental in these events. In 1984, you have an alien appearing in the closing ceremony of the 1984 Olympics. Encounters of the third kind. Third Eye Atlas. E.T. points to the boy's pineal gland and says, "I'll be right there." Avi Loeb is saying that this object is an alien spacecraft when it is a man-made object. And what they're saying is that they believe a higher intelligence has been behind the ascent of man through man's pineal gland. And that to understand this alchemical intelligence, one has to practice the duality. And out of the duality, out of its synthesis, comes a trinity, which is your third eye, and then it becomes enlightened. And so you have an enlightenment of man up the ladder to the knowledge of God. So this seems to be a huge psyop. Now, Third Eye Atlas, its closest approach will be on December the 19th. And a couple of days later, we have the solstice. We have the birth of the sun. Remember that Christmas really is about the solstice. And so, who was born at Christmas? Jesus. And William was born on the summer solstice. Okay? So you have Jesus, who was born on the celebration of the winter solstice, according to this kind of interpretation. Okay? So they're trying to create a Masonic messianic figure, which is William, whose mother was Diana, and all her memorials are dedicated to Isis. Isis rebuilds Osiris and gives birth to the new sun, the new age, the enlightened man. And it seems that William is this Masonic messianic figure, and will he become king in December? And will this La Palma event happen just before he is king? Now we look at The Economist 2026, and it looks like they're all underwater. And you have these red balloons, and you have in a song which I've covered called 99 Red Balloons. And in the song, it documents a mysterious object which was discovered in the summer, like 3IAtlas, which was discovered in the summer. And it says that there'll be a catastrophic event called the President. And it says, open your one eye, your third eye. And then it seems to suggest that we are at war with China. So this cover seems to suggest that we will be at war with China after the La Palma event. They're going to blame the ground bug on China. They're going to say China has infiltrated the United States. We have the World Cup in America. Remember, we have what looks like here, Ronaldo. And he's just visited the president. Now, could it be possible that this event will happen in December, on the winter solstice? The birth of the Masonic Messiah, or the new King of England, which is William, who was actually born on the summer solstice of caesarean birth. And Diana may have actually been a virgin. She may have been artificially inseminated. And she was sacrificed in Paris, a city named after Isis. All her memorials are based on Isis, the Egyptian goddess, who is the synthesis of the dialectic, the Trinity, which then gives birth to Horus, or enlightenment, your third eye, illumination. Now, Brits in Spain have been warned of a potential tsunami today. They've been saying that there could be this seismic earthquake off the coast of Portugal. Remember, you had a famous earthquake caused a tsunami and the destruction of Lisbon in the 1700s. And this led to a new age. Now, I believe this is about La Palma. I believe it will all be man-made. And could it be that when we have the third alert, so you have Third Eye Atlas, you will have this event? Also, is this Third Eye Atlas, with its arrival closest to the Earth on the 19th, and then you have the solstice, which is a celebration, then 3 days later you have Christmas, which is connected to the solstice. Now, remember, you have the three kings. Third Eye Atlas, three kings. Illumination. It seems that they are kind of copying the Bible as a script, but these events are actually man-made. So Brits have been warned today that there could be a catastrophic tsunami due to an earthquake, and I believe that earthquake will bring down La Palma. And could it happen when AI Atlas is at its closest approach on the 19th, or a few days later on the solstice, just before Christmas? A nightmare before Christmas. Let's look at IPEC Go 2. We seem to have La Palma here, and it's going into the sea. We also seem to have an impact. So it seems like we're going to have a number of events. We're going to have the shooting of Trump, the death of Charles, William becoming the king, the Masonic messianic figure, and just before he's king, we're going to have the collapse of La Palma. And we could have some kind of fake meteor event. And this object here seems to be Third Eye Atlas here. She lets go of the ball, which is the apple. Remember, they have like an apple in New York and a ball on New Year's. And underneath the apple, you have La Palma. La Palma here, and La Palma underneath the apple. Let's have a look. The birth of the new age here. Here is La Palma, on the heart of the apple. And La Palma is called the heart-shaped island. La Isla Bonita. It goes to the foot. You have a crown, so the British crown, with a sovereign coin. Lewis Carroll. Now this is connected to mind control and this Epstein P. Diddy, how all these people are all compromised, and how all this will be revealed as we see with the Epstein files, and the whole corruption will come down, and it's going to be blamed on China. And then after the tsunami, we will be at war with China, because China will invade Taiwan. So we have the duality, the synthesis, and then new life in the apple. Then we have the wave and the end of the United States. Remember, this is the anniversary of the United States. This is the end of the United States. And it seems to be connected to this fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Jake means Jack, which means fall, or Jacob, which is the ladder. The sacrificial fool. Is Joshua going to kill Jake Paul in this fight? Now, Jake Paul seems to be the Rocky character. He also seems to be Trump. He looks like Trump with his hair. Now, in his first fight, he beats Mike Tyson. Mr. T. Trump is Mr. T. Now, in this other fight against Joshua, people are saying Joshua is going to kill him like Ivan Drago killed Apollo Creed. Remember, we had the death of the actor Apollo Creed, and America in Rocky IV is depicted as Babylon. And then Rocky avenges the death of Apollo Creed by training with rocks. And it seems that a rock, La Palma, or some kind of meteor, or maybe some kind of combined event, is going to create this event. That's what they're going to tell us. But it's actually going to be a man-made detonation. And all this has been planned. And they seem that they're going to time it to Christmas. So December. Look out for December. Nightmare before Christmas. Maybe on the solstice. And we have the ashes. And in the ashes, remember, the ashes is about the resurrected phoenix. So from the ashes, you have a resurrected phoenix.